to this meeting. So give me a second here. Once it starts recording, I'll go ahead and get into the presentation. First of all, I just want to tell everybody, if you look in your upper right-hand corner, you'll see that there is a little icon for reactions up there. I just want somebody to raise their hand to let me know that they can hear me okay and that you can see my screen okay. All right, perfect. Thank you, folks. All right, so what we're doing here is we are going to do a presentation on partnering with Obsidian. This is specifically for you as a real estate agent. You know, in the state of Florida, obviously, with the exception of, you know, HUD, you are able to be both an originator and a realtor on a transaction here. So what I want to do is give you a little bit of an overview on our company. And the reason why we decided that we wanted to go ahead and have this presentation was because a lot of the folks here in Florida that are realtors are having a lot of success doing both. You know, it's obviously best of both worlds. I'm a licensed realtor myself. I just got recently licensed here. But we have other realtors who have been with us for quite some time, you know, in California and Florida and some of the other states that allow this. And we just feel like it's a really great opportunity because as a realtor, you know, obviously you make your commissions there, but you know, a lot of times you're at the mercy of a loan officer or a lender, you know, to get your deal through. And I'm sure a lot of you have probably been in situations where you've just been screaming, you know, about the lender not getting things done or not getting you to the closing table in time and everything else. So I just want to talk to you a little bit about who we are, what we do, see if maybe this is something of interest to you where you might consider, like me, going out and getting licensed in both areas and, you know, potentially working with us on some things. So I want to start out just by giving you a little bit of an agenda. So first of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit about who we are. I'm going to tell you what it's like working with us. I'm also going to let you know what channels we have available. So in other words, what lending channels. This is really detailed information as a realtor that you may not be aware of, you know, because you're not really working on the lending side. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail there. Typically, we show you how we price out loans and everything as well. But I don't want to go into too much detail with that as, you know, with you guys right now. That's something that if you decide, hey, I want to learn a little bit more about the company and potentially doing this, or if you are licensed, we can definitely go into pricing and show you how we, you know, generate rates and how you get compensated and everything else. But I just want to give you an overview of who we are and how things work with us. So again, I'll talk about our channels, I'll talk about our compensation, and then I'll talk about what the next steps will be if you are interested in joining with Obsidian. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and I will go ahead and respond to those at the end of the presentation. If I don't know the answer, I will definitely find out for you and, you know, respond to you via email if you reach out to me that way. All right, so we're Obsidian Financial Services, Inc. We were started in 2016. We are a fully delegated lender, which means that we're able to do files all the way from application to funding. We process, we underwrite everything in-house. Obsidian is currently one of the fastest growing lenders in the country. We started out in 2016. We had probably about 27 loan officers. We now have about 350 loan officers. When I came on board, we were in 15 states. We're now in 32 states. We're planning on trying to add another 10 states in the coming year. So we really want to work on growing our workforce, and we feel like the realtor section of this is somewhere where we really think we can grow. And I'm going to explain to you guys why we feel that way. We're headquartered in Melbourne, Florida, so on the east coast of Florida. And again, we're licensed in 32 states. So one of the things we would tell you as a realtor that you guys know, and as a mortgage loan originator, is that everything is timed, right? Mortgages are time-based transactions. You know, you have a closing date you've got to hit. And you want to know how quickly you can get your loans underwritten, how quickly you can get your loans closed. Most importantly, how quickly can you price and lock a loan and make the most money on that loan, maximize your income? So when you're working with us, again, because we are a fully delegated, full legal lender, we can process, underwrite, and close mortgage loans in our own name. So you're not at the mercy of a broker who has to go out there and go sell your file to somebody else or find somebody else that's going to fund this file for you. And then they're going to sort of work and you're really not a priority. With us, you are a priority. You know, you have access to the processing, the underwriting, our regional managers, our loan officer assistants. They're all working for you, trying to help you get your loans closed. We originated and closed over $500 million in loans last year. We want to increase that number. You know, that's probably a relatively pretty small number for a lender. And we want to grow. We want to get that number a lot higher, which is why we're talking to you guys right now. We also can broker. That's one of the other great things about us. So we can broker to over 100 lenders. We also have proprietary agreements, what's called non-delegated agreements with our other lenders. So you have a lot of other options available to you. And again, what does that mean? It means you have more options as a lender than you potentially would have working with a broker. And as a realtor and a lender, you've got even more options. So with Obsidian, we actually have 3 channels that you can originate your loans on. As I mentioned, we have our delegated. You know, this is fully in-house. That's where we process, we underwrite, we fund, we do everything. We have our proprietary, which essentially we do everything in-house with the exception of the underwriting. We send it over to the investor. They underwrite the file, but we disclose, we do everything else in our name. And then we have full wholesale available to you as well. So if you have a program that doesn't generally fit on the correspondent guidelines, you know, our delegated or proprietary, you're more than likely going to find a program available through the wholesale channel. These are going to be, you know, your subprime type loans where the person has a low credit score, or, you know, alt doc or I-10 loans, things like that that are available to you as well. So when you go delegated with us, what that basically means is that you're going to be able to have the loans underwritten in Obsidian's name. Obsidian is going to actually close the loan. We're going to price the loans in-house, which means in a lot of cases, you're going to get better pricing than going non-delegated or brokering. You know, we have a few of our folks on this call. They will tell you that our compensation, that's one of the things, you know, even if you see reviews of us, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the one thing that everybody says about Obsidian is the compensation is probably some of the best out there. And, you know, we're not greedy that way. We want you guys to make a ton of money working for us because obviously that's going to help you grow. And we never have a true compensation plan unless you broker. All right. So a lot of people ask questions about that. They're like, oh, you know, every lender has to have a comp plan. You know, you've got to have that dictated. But even when you're looking at wholesale, that's not always going to be the case. And I can explain more to you guys about that, you know, if we were doing pricing and stuff like that. But I really don't want to go into that for this level until I know that there's a mutual interest in moving forward, in which case we can definitely do that. All right, so going proprietary, this is when the company actually works as a broker and the lender simultaneously. So the underwriting is going to be done by the lender that you choose. So essentially when you go and you price the loan, you're going to price it with an investor. This is going to be the person that's going to purchase the loan, and they're going to actually underwrite it for you. The documents and everything are going to be done by them. They're going to actually send out the disclosures and everything. In most cases, all of the paperwork is still going to be in Obsidian's name. You're going to be responsible for, you know, basically picking your rate, discussing that with your borrower, tracking your loan, handling all your pricing with the lender. There's no comp plan working in the proprietary channel, which is a huge upside as opposed to working in the broker channel. All right. So a lot of you guys may not be familiar with all this lingo on the lending side of things, but it's good to know even as a realtor. Now, when you're brokering, this is probably the most well-known option in the mortgage market. It's probably also the one where you have probably some of the worst experiences with folks, because again, as a broker, they're just going out there, they're a middleman, and they're going out there and finding a lender. They're at the mercy of that lender. You got to rely on them to get stuff to the lender on a timely basis. So there's really no control over that process like you do with our correspondent side of things. They actually underwrite the loan. They close the loan in their own name. They price the loan, but it's your responsibility to lock that loan. And you also have to make sure that the lock doesn't expire. And then you've got to track where the loan progress is at all times. So it's a little bit more of a convoluted approach because you've got Obsidian, you've got yourself as the broker, and then you've got the other lender that you have to deal with. And then you're at the mercy of their underwriters as well. So, just in explaining that and talking about compensation with us, when you work with us, you're going to have the options to go the way that you want to go, and you're going to have the options to make what you want to make with us. All right. With Obsidian, the company does not dictate the compensation. You decide that. That's between you and your borrower. Okay. So that's what's going to really determine everything. So just to clarify again, mortgage brokers, you're limited on how much their compensation can be. As a mortgage broker, by regulatory, the most you can make is 2.75 on a deal. And that 2.75 is going to be subject to fees. You're going to be paying your broker, whoever the broker is, you're going to be paying, whatever fees there are related to the transaction outside of what the borrower is paying. So by the time you get through all of that 2.75 really is not going to be 2.75. At Obsidian, though, if you have to broker a deal with us, you're going to pay a flat $12.95 or 20% of the commission, whichever one of those two is the higher of the two, and a $2.95 QC fee. And that's it. So we're taking about $1,600 out, and that's all you're going to pay, and then everything else you're going to get to keep. All right, so there's no hidden fees in there. What you see there is what you're going to make. Mortgage compensation plans are what determine the rates for consumers. So essentially, when you're pricing a loan, and you guys don't get involved in this, you basically, when the borrower is talking to the loan officer is coming back to the borrower and saying, hey, I can offer you this rate. Is that acceptable to you? And they move on, right? They say, yes, we'll accept that, or I'm going to shop it around with a couple of other lenders and see if I can do any better. Now, what you have to understand is, in the pricing situation and everything else, it's going to really be based on the appetite of the borrower for how much they want to, pay, on their mortgage, and then how much does the loan officer feel they want to make. Is this a really easy loan? Is it a harder, more complex loan where you've got to do a lot more work on those? And then the biggest difference is that correspondent lenders use their own warehouse lines of credit to fund loans. So we actually fund loans with our money. And what happens on the correspondent lending side of things is as soon as we purchase that loan and pay the loan for the borrower, we turn around and we sell that loan to an investor. So we're using our own money on those. We're making our own underwriting decisions. That's flexibility that you will never get when you're dealing with a broker. Now, if you still need to broker, again, like I said, we're not about forcing loan officers to fit a square peg in a round hole. You're going to have deals out there where, like I said, they're going to be subprime, subpar, alternate doc, where or I-10, foreign borrower or whatever, and you're going to want to be able to do those deals, and we understand that, we get that. A lot of our banks that lend money don't want to deal with those type of things, but again, we have a lot of wholesale options available to you. So you're not going to really find very many deals that you're not going to be able to bring to the table. And we're still going to give you the max broker comp of the 2.75. And again, lowest fees out there. Some of the lowest fees, $1,600 all in, and you're still going to make money and compete. You're still going to be able to get a good rate there. So let's talk a little bit about the compensation by channel. So we have our delegated, proprietary, and broker channels. So delegated is going to be our best pricing with no compensation plan, right? So when we say no compensation plan, of course, there's always going to be a limit on what you can make compensation wise, right? That's regulatory. There's no way to get around that. But if you've ever dealt with wholesale, you'll always see that wholesale pricing is always set at a margin slightly above the 100.000. And normally what happens with that extra money is that's usually given back to the borrower as a discount. It could be, to pay towards an appraisal or whatever. It's discounted to the borrower. With Obsidian, we don't do that. So what happens is if you price a loan at, say, 100.5, that means you're going to make that 0.5%. If it's at 100.25, you're going to make that 0.25%. So what you see over that par rate is what you're going to make. Obsidian gives that to you. You can decide if you want to give that as a credit back to the borrower, if you want to pay for their appraisal. Whatever you want to do with that extra money is up to you. With delegated loans, the borrower does not see the back end compensation. So the borrower is not, the price is the price there. All right. So that means that you can still charge the borrower on the front. Right? And Obsidian is still going to give you that little bonus on the back end. All right. So if you decide that you want to move forward with us, we can go into the pricing in more detail. Again, if you haven't done loans before, it's probably all sounding like Greek to you. But if we show it to you, it makes a lot of sense to everybody. Now, in the proprietary lending, the pricing is generally not going to be as good. And the main reason why is because mostly all of the proprietary non-delegated is also going to be alternate loan programs, your jumbos, things like that, your DSCRs in some cases. So that pricing's not always going to be better because obviously there's a little bit more risk for the lender. So they're not going to price that as favorably. You can still choose any lender, though, that you can price with. They're going to disclose, they're going to underwrite, they're going to price for you, and they're going to close. You can still charge the borrower on the front and the back. The borrower is not going to be aware, and compensation is not disclosed. And you're in charge of locking and maintaining the lock with the investor in that case. So you're going to be doing a little bit more work, but the underwriting is going to be really based on what they decide are the conditions and everything else when they underwrite these. And again, on the wholesale broker channel, you're going to be responsible for pretty much everything. You're going to lock the loan with the investor. You're going to submit the file to the investor, disclosing, underwriting, closing, locking, deciding whether you're going to go lender or borrower paid on the transaction. And then again, 2.75 comp. Rules for brokering a loan differ from the correspondent channel. And those do have a comp plan, 2.75. That's what we give you. A lot of the brokers out there don't even give you anywhere near that amount. So again, because we are a correspondent lender, we have the ability to lower our broker pricing to a fixed amount. So don't let anyone fool you because all wholesale brokering pricing is the same with every lender. Nobody has an advantage there. It's just really based on what the company decides they want to give you as a loan officer and what they want to take from you as a loan officer. And again, like I said, we do a simple flat fee, $12.95 per file. It's $12.95 out of the commission or 20%, whichever one is higher, and $2.95, and that's it. Everything else is yours to keep. All right, so we offer a lot of products. For those of you that are realtors and stuff, you always want to know what lenders have what. Your borrower's asking you when you're at an open house, hey, what's available to me? As a what can I borrow? Here's my credit score and all that. So really, you're not going to know all that stuff. You usually rely on your partner, lending partner, or somebody that you've had that favorable lending relationship with, to be able to navigate that part of it for you. With us, obviously, again, you have that control. So you're going to be able to know what the products are. You're going to know what's available. You'll be able to size up your borrowers when they're in open house and stuff, and say, yeah, I think I can fit this guy in here. You're going to know that with very minimal information from the borrower. Generally, about 5 pieces of information from them that you can ask them. You're going to know whether or not something's going to work for them or not. So these are all the programs that we offer. Now, I will tell you that if there are unique programs that you need and we don't offer them on the correspondent side of things, we will always go out and find a wholesaler. Or if you have a company that you want us to sign up with because you need to be able to do a certain typical type of loan, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get signed up with them. You just reach out to me, say, hey, Andre, I need this lender. I'll go ahead and get that set up, through our compliance folks. If we can do it with them, we will do it. But as you can see, we offer a lot of stuff. We have manufactured homes. We have doctor loans. We do reverse mortgages. We do reverse mortgages from front to back for you. So you don't even have to know how to do a reverse mortgage. We handle all of that. All you got to do is bring in the client. We do hard money loans. We've got we have a program that's very similar to DPA. DPAs, the legitimate ones, require you to be signed up with a nonprofit agency like Chenoa. A lot of states now and counties have their own DPA programs. They're really pretty easy to sign up for. You don't have to have the company sign up. You can actually sign up as a loan officer for those. I'm in Tampa, Florida. We have them available here. I get flyers about them all the time, and it's really easy to go sign up for those. But we do have alternate programs that are sort of like DPA programs that are available in like 49 states. We're in 32 states again, but those would be available to you as well. We also have a 0 FHA loan. So it's a no money down FHA that people can sign up for. We can go down to a 500 on an FHA or a VA loan. So we have a lot of different options that we're going to make available to you. Now, if you want to start a branch, you can start a branch with us. Branch compensation, we basically allow branches to set their own. You can go up to a 1.25 on your branch comp on an override. I would never suggest you do that because you're going to price yourself out of the market, but you do have the availability to set that margin. You can hire your own processor. We prefer that you do not hire your own underwriter, number one, because you're going to have to find a DE underwriter. Number two, it's correspondent lending. It's a whole different animal. We found that a lot of these underwriters just say, yeah, I can come in there and do that. They don't know what they're doing. So that's really, we would rather you start with us, learn a little bit about us. And then if you find, hey, I've got somebody that I feel like is a really good fit, then we would potentially entertain that. How do I bring on loan officers? It's another question. We actually have recruiters. We have 6 recruiters. We just hired 4 more. They will actually recruit for you. So in other words, you can recruit for yourself. We'll run a campaign for you in Indeed. But if you don't want to bring on your own loan officers, we will actually bring those on for you. You can interview them, or our recruiters will interview them for you. The recruiters don't charge a lot. So can I use a DBA or trade name? You can definitely do a trade name, not a DBA. How do I handle payroll? We basically set up payroll for you. You get an account. We dump all your money in that account. You pay your employees, your processors, and everything else. If you want us to direct pay your loan officers, we can do that as well. Are there any production minimums? No. We would love to see productive branches, but we're not going to hold you guys down to, any production quotas. We just want you guys to be productive and get your loan officers producing. What are Obsidian's requirements? Our requirements are the state requirements. So we go by what the state says. If you have to have a physical branch and a commercial location, obviously you've got to get that set up. Some states are really very specific. If you're a realtor and a loan officer or branch, they make you jump through a lot of hoops and everything. Florida is not as stringent there, but I know you guys know that a lot of real estate companies do not want you working as a loan officer. There's a few that'll let you. They'll let you do the dual, but there's a lot of them that they say, "Oh, you're an LO, no, no thanks." So, that's one of the things you have to be able to be aware of. All right. So again, are you a realtor? Of course you are. So Florida is licensed in a lot of states, again, that allow you to be both a realtor and loan officer on specific home purchase programs, loan programs with Obsidian. I've showed you what we offer. Realtor loan officers, what programs are you allowed to be on? Anything that's not related to HUD. In most cases, you can be both. How is it legal and ethical? It is not illegal. It's discouraged by a lot of real estate companies, but there's nothing illegal about it. You just cannot be on the same transaction if you are a loan officer and a realtor, but Obsidian does have a solution for that as well. So we have what we call our transition desk. So essentially what the transition desk is, we're licensed in 32 states, and you can work your leads as a loan assistant in any of those states. So the way that that works is if you have a loan and you're the realtor on there, you can't be the loan officer on that deal, we'll put a loan officer on there to work that deal for you. All right. You would work on the file as a loan officer assistant, which is essentially just observing the file because we already have loan officer assistants that do a lot of the work for you. And then you would still make the full commission. We take $5.95. That's what we pay the loan officer. You get paid the bulk as a LOA, as a loan officer assistant. So even if you are a loan officer and you're not licensed in any of those other states, you can literally work on those states as an LOA and get compensated as an LOA, just not as a loan officer. All right, so this is more information. We provide the LOS for you. It's called Lending Pad. It's fully integrated with our pricing, so it's very easy to go in there, set up a loan, and price it. We can do everything within our LOS. We can pull title. We can order the appraisal. Everything is built into the system. It's fully web-based. It runs in Chrome or Edge or Safari. Every single action that you need to do as a loan officer, you can do in there, and full transparency on a lot of the other things like the appraisal and stuff like that. We use Optimal Blue for pricing. Optimal Blue is considered the Cadillac of pricing engines. We're going to be switching over to a different pricing engine probably in the new year that's going to allow us to do pricing on both the wholesale, the correspondent side of things, and also to order MI quotes inside of Lending Pad. Right now, you've got to go in Optimal Blue to do a few of these things. This will be all inclusive. You'll be able to actually do that inside of Lending Pad. So it'll be a one-stop shop, fully integrated. Moretech is owned by Zillow, one of the biggest companies out there, as many of you are aware, very reputable, great pricing engine. So we're probably gonna move over to that. You can look up what you're going to make in there. Obviously, it's single click. There's a button in Lending Pad that says Get Price. You click on that. You pick your channel, whether it's delegated, non-delegated, or wholesale. It's going to give you an option where you're going to see a list of the investors. You're going to actually see what the pricing is, how far you are over. It's going to give you P&I, and it's going to give you 6 MI quotes. So you're going to be able to look up investor guidelines, see if there's any overlays, any of the other things that you need to do. But it makes sure that your borrower is getting the best option. All right. So Surefire is our marketing platform. We give that to you free of charge. I'm going to show you guys Surefire just really quickly. because it is a really great tool for realtors. I know you guys get a lot of stuff as realtors as well, that's made available to you through the real estate companies, but um, Surefire is amazing. It's really a good tool, and our loan officers partner with a lot of the realtors with this tool. So I'm going to give you a quick overview here just so that you can see what's in there. So what Surefire is it's basically fully integrated into our lending pad. So it works with the loan origination system, but it's also a full CRM. And it also handles all of your marketing automatically for you. So it sends your borrowers emails regarding the progress of their loans. It'll send out little videos, to your borrowers and stuff like that. It's got thousands of flyers in here. So you have these things called landing pages. These are all little ads that can be sent out with the single click of a button. You got your Christmas ads and all of that. You can actually set up automated workflows to do all of this stuff, or you can build your own. All right. Most of these they all go by email. An example of this, if I preview one, is the borrower would get this little card. You click on the little card, it's going to open up a little greeting, and it's going to play an audio greeting for them. All right. So you got tons of those available. As far as flyers go, there are literally thousands of flyers in here. They are bilingual, so they come in both Spanish and English. You'll notice that there is a little sharing icon here, and you can just do a single click there, and that's going to blast that out to all your social media sites. All right. You can also download them and print them out as PDFs if you want. Everything can be co-branded just by dragging and dropping the signature blocks in, or saying that you want to co-brand it. As you can see up here, there's a section in here for signature blocks that does all of that for you. So you can actually build your own if you want. So, if you do the create flyer, it's a simple drag and drop interface where you can build a flyer with just a couple of clicks. And you can pull in your co-branded merge fields here. All right. The other thing that I am really excited about in here is that we are fully integrated with the MLS. So if you need to build a single property website for an open house, you can literally do this in 5 clicks. All right. And that's going to pull it up for you. And it's going to build a website that looks like this. So it's going to pull in all your images and everything from the MLS. It's going to put the pricing on there. It's going to put a description of the house from the MLS. It's going to pull in all the gallery images for you. It's going to give them all the location summary information, area details. It's going to put the agent on there, so you'll be previewed on there as well. And they can schedule a showing from there. It's also going to give them the mortgage calculator. And if you are not the mortgage loan officer on the transaction, it'll go ahead and add the loan officer on there. All right, the preferred loan officer, and they can actually go in and apply from there. Now, the great thing with these is, again, they're fully integrated with the MLS. So when one goes under contract, like this property right here, it's going to automatically update and show that the property is pending in there. So you're going to be able to go in there and see that as well. And that's just a little bit of what it does. I mean, there's a ton more stuff that's available to you. Like I said, there's a full CRM in here. You can mark it. We have texting built in here, so you can send texts out. You can send these greetings via text. Anything that you want to do, you can import your own contacts, etc. So, and it also has a referral tracking system. So we give you that free of charge for joining us. We also have our intranet. So our intranet is basically our training site, and it has a ton of content in there, video content, learning content, documents, how-to lessons, webinars. It has podcasts in there, just tons and tons and tons of video content. You get access to that website as well. Our scenarios desk, reverse mortgage desks are available there, so you can request assistance with a scenario or just run an entire reverse mortgage through there. You can take the whole application through there, send the link to your borrower to get the application, and then our team will start working on it for you right away. All right. So the other thing that you get is you get experienced loan officer assistance free of charge. So the loan officer assistant will work with you as a loan officer. They're going to contact your borrowers. They're going to collect docs for you. They're going to help to make sure that the application is complete. They work with the processor and the underwriter so that you can spend all your time producing. That's their job. And then the regional managers are really mentors on your programs. We have a few of them on this call. All they're basically going to do for you is if you have any questions or you need help with a file or trying to figure out a scenario or pricing and stuff, you get a hold of your regional manager. They're going to help you with all of that. They'll help you with lending pad. They'll help you structure your file, calculate income, get your application to where it needs to be. They're very familiar with our underwriters and our underwriter guidelines, and they know what our underwriters are looking for. So you also get assigned a regional manager as well. So what's the one thing that we've covered here is, again, you have a lot of options with Obsidian. As a realtor coming on board, we give you a lot of different ways to do things. A lot of programs are available to you. So again, we give you the level of help that you need so that if you're, doing loans with us, as a loan officer, even as a realtor, you're going to have a ton of support available to you. We're going to make sure we close loans quickly because everything is done in-house. Our CEO, our senior vice president, all of them are very heavily involved in making sure that we're not having issues. We have meetings once a week with our underwriters, our regional managers, and all that to go through pipelines and loans and to make sure that everything's moving forward very quickly. So the next steps that we would have is if you do decide that you have other questions, we can put you in touch with a recruiter. You can reach out to me. I will put my email address in the chat. Send me an email. Just say, hey, Andre, I definitely want to talk to somebody. This seems like something that I might want to do, but I have more questions. Once we've done that and you decide that you want to move forward, we will send you a contract to e-sign. And then once the contract is signed, we onboard you. So the onboarding process is obviously getting you sponsored, set up in the NMLS, all of that good stuff, making sure that everything's moving forward. We get you into an orientation. So we actually do a 4-hour training with you as you initially are starting, just so that you can learn the process of pricing, how to use our LOS system. We go through all of that. And then at that point, you're meeting with your regional manager. You're starting to work on your files. They're going to go through your first 3 or 4 or 5 files with you just to make sure that you understand what you're doing. And then as you get more and more acclimated to the way things work with us, you'll start actually working out there on your own. You may not need a regional manager as much or the LOA as much. But our focus is to keep you guys out there selling, not having you deal with the day-to-day minutia of, keeping your loan going and all that. That's what the LOAs are for. That's what your regional managers are for. We want you guys to go out there because we understand that producing, having a very healthy pipeline is what's going to make you money. So again, if you need to get a hold of me, you can email me. You don't have to email employment@obsidianmortgage.com. Just email me directly. I'll put my email in the chat. Or you can go to obsidianfinancialservices.com/careers. Or you can call our 800 number and hit option 1 to speak to a recruiter. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor. If there's anyone with any questions. Does anybody have any questions in the chat? All right, I see somebody's typing. Do you assist with getting the mortgage license? Yes, we can definitely assist you with getting your mortgage license. We have a full compliance team on there, so we can definitely help out with that aspect of it. Absolutely. Any other questions? Derek, you have a question? Or is that, yeah, Derek? Yeah, can you just go ahead and type it in the chat? We prefer our LOAs to have a mortgage license because you have to be able to talk to borrowers on behalf of your loan officer. So we would like you to at least get licensed within 90 days with us once you've onboarded as an LOA. So you don't have to initially come on with the license, but we do expect you to get licensed as quickly as possible. You would want to contact me. I'm going to put my email address in here for you. And if you want to reach out to me to ask any other questions or to have a phone call, or if you want to speak to a recruiter, we can definitely get you in touch with somebody right away. Well, that's great. You already took the class, just have to take the test. Yeah. So once you do that, you can, come on board. Like I said, if you want to, work as an LOA and just start bringing in some leads and start getting acclimated, you can do that as well. And then once you're fully licensed, obviously you can start originating on your own loans. Awesome. Any other questions from anybody? All right, everybody. Well, that's all I had. I've got a copy of this recording. If anybody needs a copy, just feel free to reach out to me. Again, my email address is in the chat here, so feel free to reach out and